A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms Season 1. Full story breakdown and ending explained. If Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon are sprawling, apocalyptic sagas about conquering the Iron Throne, burning ancient cities to ash, and unleashing dragons upon the masses, then HBO's latest prequel, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, is something entirely different. And honestly, it's exactly the breath of fresh air this massive franchise desperately needed. After years of watching highborn lords and ladies plot the destruction of the world from the comfort of their painted tables and shadowy throne rooms, this story brings us violently back down to earth, literally right into the mud. It's a grounded, deeply personal tale about a massive, low-born teenager who simply dreams of being a true knight, and a bald, foul-mouthed little boy who is hiding a world-shattering secret beneath his dusty cloak. Whether you're a hardcore George R.R. Martin book reader who has memorized the Targaryen family tree, or a casual fan trying to figure out how this fits into the broader Westerosi timeline, you're in the right place. Let's break down the entire first season of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, unpack the heartbreaking tragedy of the Trial of Seven, and decode exactly what that sneaky post-credits scene means for Season 2. Where does this fit in the Game of Thrones timeline? Before we get into the heavy spoilers and the clash of swords, let's set the historical stage. The events of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms take place roughly 70 years before Robert's Rebellion, the war that kicked off the original Game of Thrones series. And about 78 years after the bloody Targaryen Civil War, we watched tear the realm apart in House of the Dragon. During this specific era, the realm is ruled by King Daeron II Targaryen, known affectionately by the small folk as Daeron the Good. For those keeping track of the bloodlines, he is the great-grandson of Rhaenyra and Daemon Targaryen. But here is the catch: the dragons are gone. They have been dead for decades. Without nuclear fire-breathing monsters to enforce their will, the Targaryens are ruling purely on political alliances, strategic marriages, and the sheer, lingering fear of their family name. On the surface, it's an era of relative peace. But if you look closely, the realm is absolutely simmering with tension. Rebellions are fresh in the memories of the older lords, and the Targaryen family itself is bloated with princes, some of them honorable, others deeply unstable. It's a powder keg waiting for a spark. And that spark arrives in the form of a wandering hedge knight. Meet Dunk, the hedge knight with a big heart and heavy fists. Our main character is Dunk. In the show, he's a 17-year-old kid from the absolute gutters of Flea Bottom, played brilliantly by 28-year-old Peter Claffey. If you're wondering why he looks so terrifyingly imposing on screen, it's because Dunk stands well over 6 feet 11 inches tall. He is a walking mountain. If his towering height, his awkward, brawling combat style, and his unwavering sense of stubborn loyalty remind you of a certain female knight from the original series, your instincts are spot on. Dunk is actually a direct ancestor of Brienne of Tarth. Remember that shield with the shooting star Brienne finds in the armory in Game of Thrones? That's Dunk's sigil. So, spoiler alert for his long-term survival. He makes it through this chaotic era and eventually has descendants. But knowing he survives doesn't make watching his journey any less stressful. Dunk isn't the sharpest sword in the armory. He's a bit thick-headed and slow to think things through, often repeating his old master's mantra, "Dunk the lunk, thick as a castle wall." But what he lacks in political cunning or formal education, he makes up for in pure, unadulterated honor. He is the knight that Sansa Stark used to sing songs about, except he doesn't wear shiny armor, and he rarely gets the glory. The story truly kicks off when Dunk's mentor, an old, tired hedge knight named Ser Arlen of Pennytree, passes away in the cold rain. A hedge knight is essentially a freelancer. They don't have castles or lords. They just sleep under hedges and travel looking for work. Instead of selling off Arlen's gear for a warm meal, Dunk buries the old man, takes up his sword and armor, and makes a massive leap of faith. He decides to forge his own destiny at a massive royal tourney being held in Ashford Meadow. The boy with the shaved head, a prince in disguise. You can't have Dunk without Egg. They are the ultimate Westerosi duo. On his way to the Ashford tourney, Dunk stops at a local inn and crosses paths with a bald, highly insolent little kid who aggressively insists on becoming his squire. Dunk initially blows him off. Hedge knights barely have enough food for themselves, let alone a mouthy kid who doesn't know how to keep quiet. But Egg, played with incredible sass by Dexter Sol Ansel, is persistent. He secretly follows Dunk, shows up at his camp, cleans the muddy gear, and tends to the horses. Dunk eventually caves to the kid's sheer willpower. He gives himself the official, slightly ridiculous title, Ser Duncan the Tall, and takes the boy on as his squire. What Dunk doesn't realize right away is that Egg isn't some peasant orphan dodging a blacksmith apprenticeship. His real name is Aegon Targaryen. He's completely shaved his head to hide his signature silver-gold Targaryen hair. Egg is a prince of the blood. But because he is so far down the line of succession, he is the fourth son of a fourth son, he's been allowed to run slightly wild. Egg is brilliant, observant, and deeply fascinated by the small folk. Being a squire to a poor, wandering, perpetually hungry hedge knight gives Egg a harsh, real-world education that sitting in the red keep never could. He learns what it means to freeze, to starve, and to be treated like dirt by the highborn lords. This dynamic forms the absolute beating heart of the series. The Ashford tourney and the Monster Prince. When Dunk arrives at the vibrant, colorful Ashford meadow, he quickly realizes that the fantasy world of true knights is mostly a hollow sham. The highborn lords look down on him, mock his ragged, mismatched appearance, and refuse to vouch for his knighthood. To them, he is a peasant playing dress-up. It's here that the show beautifully contrasts Dunk's grounded, salt-of-the-earth morality with the toxic, unchecked entitlement of the royals. Dunk is desperately trying to prove he belongs, and he eventually catches a massive break. He gets vouched for by none other than Baelor Breakspear Targaryen, the crown prince and hand of the king. Baelor is universally beloved, respected, and is arguably the best, most honorable man in the entire realm. He looks at Dunk and sees a genuinely good kid. But the joy of the tourney is violently derailed by Egg's older brother, Prince Aerion Brightflame Targaryen. If you thought Joffrey Baratheon or Ramsay Bolton were bad, Aerion is cut from the exact same psychotic cloth. Aerion is everything wrong with the Targaryen dynasty: cruel, vain, deeply narcissistic, and borderline delusional. He genuinely believes he is a dragon in human form. The breaking point arrives during a puppet show. When Dunk catches Aerion brutalizing an innocent Dornish puppeteer named Tanzel, who is performing a play about a dead dragon, which Aerion takes as a personal insult to his family, Dunk completely forgets the rules of high society. He doesn't see a royal prince who holds the power of life and death. He just sees a vicious bully hurting a helpless woman. Dunk charges in and beats Aerion down into the dirt. It is immensely satisfying to watch, but politically disastrous. Striking a prince of the royal blood is an offense that carries the gruesome punishment of losing a hand and a foot. For a lowborn kid like Dunk, that is essentially a death sentence. The trial of 7, blood in the mud. To save his own limbs and his life, Dunk demands a trial by combat. But the cowardly, vindictive Aerion manipulates the archaic laws of Westeros, demanding a trial of 7, an ancient Undul tradition where 7 knights fight 7 knights. This sets up the most gripping, emotionally exhausting, and anxiety-inducing sequence of the entire season. Dunk, a literal nobody with no money and no political backing, has to somehow find 6 knights willing to risk the wrath of the royal family to fight alongside him. The recruitment process is agonizing. We see the true nature of chivalry exposed. While some knights betray him for promises of gold and royal titles, others surprisingly step up, moved by Dunk's simple bravery. The ultimate, jaw-dropping shocker comes right before the battle begins. Prince Baelor Breakspear himself rides onto the field and joins Dunk's side. The Crown Prince chooses to fight against his own family members, including his brother Mikar and his nephew Aerion, because he knows in his soul that Dunk was in the right for defending the innocent puppeteer. The resulting fight is absolutely brutal. Unlike the flashy, beautifully choreographed sword dances of other fantasy shows, this battle is a chaotic, messy brawl. It is fought in thick mud, driven by exhaustion, heavy breathing, and blunt force trauma. Armor gets dented, bones break, and it feels terrifyingly real. Dunk, relying on his massive size and street-brawling instincts rather than formal training, manages to pin Aerion and force the weeping prince to yield, winning the trial and his freedom. But victory in Westeros never comes without a devastating cost. Following the battle, Baelor Breakspear removes his helmet. He takes a few steps and collapses. He suffered a fatal blow to the head from a mace swung by his own brother, Prince Mikar, Egg, and Aerion's father. Baelor's death is a massive, sickening gut punch. He was the great hope of the Targaryen dynasty, the heir the realm desperately needed. His accidental death at the hands of his own brother completely shatters the political landscape and alters the future of Westeros forever. The ending explained, riding into the sunset. The season finale is quiet, somber, and deals heavily with the emotional fallout of Baelor's tragic death. Dunk is riddled with profound survivor's guilt. He sits by the fire, wondering why the gods would spare an uneducated kid from Flea Bottom, only to take a great, wise prince who would have been an incredible king. As the royal camp packs up to leave the blood-stained meadows of Ashford, Dunk is forced to make some major decisions about his future. First, there is a beautiful moment of closure regarding his horse. His new friend Raymond Fossaway manages to buy back Dunk's old horse, Lightfoot, who Dunk had to pawn earlier to survive. But instead of taking Lightfoot on the dangerous road ahead, Dunk gives the horse back. Raymond feeds the horse a green apple, ensuring that Lightfoot will be spared the horrors of war and live out a peaceful, quiet life in an orchard. Second, Ser Lionel Baratheon, one of the fierce warriors who fought beside Dunk in the trial, offers Dunk a highly coveted, incredibly comfortable spot serving at his ancestral home, Storm's End. For a kid from the slums, this is hitting the lottery. It means a warm bed, guaranteed meals, and high status. Dunk turns it down flat. He's seen enough of high lords, royal politics, and the toxic games played in castles. He wants to hit the open road and serve the realm on his own simple terms. At the very last moment, Egg comes sprinting up to Dunk with his bags packed. Egg claims that his father, Prince Mikar, who is drowning in guilt over killing Baelor, has given him permission to serve as Dunk's squire. Dunk stops the boy and sets a hard, unbreakable boundary. If Egg comes with him, the royal titles are gone. He isn't a prince anymore. He will live the hard, hungry, rain-soaked, dirty life of a true Hedge Knight's squire. He will take orders, and he will learn what life is like for the 99% of Westeros. Egg happily agrees without a second thought. He suggests they pack up and head toward the Red Mountains in Dorne. Why Dorne? Because that is the exact same region Tanzel the puppeteer fled to earlier in the season, and Egg knows Dunk is hopelessly crushing on her. The Red Mountains were actually first mentioned way back in episode 1, when Ser Arlen talked about hunting the Vulture King. There's also a fantastic bit of world-building lore dropped right before they leave. Egg corrects Dunk, mentioning that there are actually 9 kingdoms, not 7. Both are technically correct. 7 Kingdoms was the marketing title Aegon the Conqueror gave the realm over 200 years ago when he forged the Iron Throne. But over the centuries, the borders expanded and shifted, breaking the realm into 9 distinct administrative regions. The season ends on a beautifully poignant, deeply symbolic shot. As Dunk and Egg ride off together to begin their lifelong adventures, we see the ghostly apparition of Ser Arlen of Pennytree turn his horse and ride away in a different direction. Arlen's job is finally done. He successfully raised a good man. Dunk is on his own now. The post-credits scene, a massive royal lie. If you clicked away when the emotional credits started rolling, you missed a crucial, game-changing detail that perfectly sets up the chaos of the future. In a brief, tense post-credits scene, we see the Targaryen royal caravan slowly returning toward King's Landing. The mood is grim following Baelor's death. Prince Mikar looks around his carriage, expecting to see his youngest son, only to realize that Egg is nowhere to be found. That's right, Egg completely lied to Dunk's face. Mikar never gave his son permission to run off into the wilderness with a massive, wandering Hedge Knight. Egg snuck out in the dead of night to be with his friend. This sets up a massive, high-stakes conflict for Season 2. The Targaryens will undoubtedly be dispatching guards, spies, and ravens searching for their missing prince, while Dunk will be completely unaware that he is technically kidnapped, a member of the royal family. Looking ahead to Season 2. With HBO already confirming that filming for Season 2 is well underway, and with plans to release a new season of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms every single year, we won't have to wait long to see Dunk and Egg's treacherous journey down into the deserts of Dorne. This magnificent first season proved something vital. You don't need world-ending ice zombies, millions of dollars in CGI dragons, or apocalyptic stakes to tell an incredible story in the world of Westeros. Sometimes, all you need is a genuinely good man trying to do the right thing, a stubborn kid looking for an adventure, and the endless possibilities of the open road.